Kia ora koutou katoa and welcome along to another episode of Beyond the Hustle with me, Anton, and my beautiful wife, Jess. We both really appreciate you joining us. This is going to be our last episode for the year.
2024, yeah.
2024. So what's the plan today?
Today we're just going to do a bit of a reflection.
Yep.
Bit of goal setting.
Bit of a recap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reflect on some of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the things we've learned.
Reflect on our learnings and how we might be able to change things next year.
You want to talk about some goals for next year as well?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Haven't thought that much about it yet, but
okay.
Here we go.
We'll wait and see where the waiter takes us.
Now is as good a time as ever.
Kapai. So if that's interesting to you, then hang around and thanks very much for joining us. So before we jump into reflections and all of that jazz, tell me how you're feeling about this year, 2024, and how you're feeling stepping into 25.
I think I'm feeling like the year was a blur, like it just came and went.
Yeah.
And it was a grind, and it was fast. How about you?
Do you reckon, a little bit the same. Do you reckon as you get older, years just feel like they go faster?
Yeah. And as your kids get older, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
You get to the end of the year and you go, oh my God, it's finished.
Yeah. No, I agree. It has been it felt like a grind all year. It's just been a grind. Nothing's really come easy.
No.
Everything we've had to work really hard for it. And it still doesn't really feel like we're out of the woodworks just yet.
Yeah.
But it's just been a grind, hard work.
Yeah. 2024 has felt like nothing's come easy, and everybody is on struggle street in some way or another, whether it's money, work. Yeah, it's just felt like everyone has to be propped up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So if you had to pick a few words to kind of, I don't know, capture 2024, how would you talk about and capture 2024 in a few words, do you think?
Oh, a few words. I think we've just used the word grind. That's definitely a real good one for 2024. It's not like other years that we've had where we've had things like COVID, where we've had big challenges and you can kind of pinpoint the challenge. It's been a year where, like we've just said, it's a constant grind, but for no reason in particular. So it's just felt like Groundhog Day. And you just can't quite ever get out of that grind in 2024. Yeah,
I agree. And
what's your words? Tell me your words for 2024.
Well, no, I was just reflecting on what you said. And that term, what was it, survive to 25? Yeah. I mean, people have been saying that for like 6 months. So I don't think we're the only ones. People have really been in survival mode. If I had to capture 2024 in a few words, I think like job losses. Been huge. I've never known a time when there's been so many redundancies and job losses and cuts, and it hasn't just been, obviously it's been in the media all year about the job losses in government, and that's been really hard for a lot of people, because I think every whānau has someone who
works for government,
works in Wellington or works for the government, or is somehow affected by some of those cuts, but all of those cuts have a flow-on effect.
But also I think, you see the government stuff in the media, but I think big businesses, small businesses, everyone has just really cut back on hiring new people.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Everyone's saving.
And I think the sum of all of that stuff, it means that there is just less money to go around. Households are under pressure. You combine that with, I don't want to say high interest rates, because all the boomers out there will be like, back in my day we had 25%, and I get that. But,
But we've got big mortgages these days.
Big mortgages, but the interest rates have been higher than they were 3 or 4 years ago, right? And so that's put a lot of pressure on household incomes. You combine that with a few job cuts here and there, businesses hiring less people. I mean, it's put a whole bunch of a lot of pressure on the economy, and it's just been a grind. And people have been saying survive to 25, like, something magical is going to happen on January the 1st. It won't.
No, I think we've got a bit of grinding to do still.
It does feel like we've still got a wee way to go.
Yeah.
That's all very kind of depressing.
It is, isn't it?
But I think, there's still there's been some really good things that have happened this year as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's been nothing catastrophically terrible that's happened this year.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
That's the non-depressing part. It's been a good, chill year.
Yeah.
No COVID, no big, natural disasters.
It's actually hard for me to remember what we were doing a year ago. Like I sort of think a year seems like a long time, but because everything, like you said, has just kind of felt like a bit of a blur, and we've just been on grind every day, Groundhog Day. I actually can't even remember when this all started.
Yeah.
So whether it was a year ago or not, who knows?
Okay. So off the back of that, the daily grind, what is something that you've learned about yourself this year?
About me personally?
Personally, yeah.
I think what I've learned about myself, and it was kind of on the back of the end of 2023, when we went to the US. That was kind of our first major overseas holiday as a whānau. And I didn't really have any expectations going into it, which was probably a good thing. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time over there. But what I also enjoyed was coming back and having all of the photos that we took while we were over there thrown up on the TV like a screensaver, and constantly being reminded of some of the experiences that we had. That led to a whole bunch of really cool conversation. Oh, do you remember when we did this? And this is what we do differently next time. And oh, that was such a cool time. So it wasn't just the trip itself at the end of 2023, but it was all of the conversation and all of the reflection as a whānau that occurred after that. That was really enjoyable for me. And so on the back of that, you and I sitting down going, we've got to do this more often, going to Australia and having a week over there, doing Australia Zoo, doing the theme parks. We did that really cool cruise down the Noosa River, going out and just eating burgers and, just having fun, doing a little bit of shopping. I think I've learned how much I really enjoy those times. A long weekend in Queenstown or, a week in Australia or just any time away like that. We've done Rotorua this year as a whānau. The return on the investment, 2 days or 3 days away, creating those moments, you just get an unreasonable return of happiness and joy and memories. For me, unlocking that has been really powerful because I really want to create more of that. And then on the flip side of that, I think I like nice things as much as the next person, but what I've also learned is that they don't really mean anything to me. Like nice things, like I want to have a nice house and, nice-ish clothes, but I don't really want the designer stuff. I want a nice car, but if you gave me a Ferrari, I wouldn't really know what to do with it. I'd probably just sell it, I don't want those flashy designer things. Once upon a time I probably did. Once upon a time I probably was like, all right, the goal is to drive a Range Rover. Honestly, I don't want that now.
Off the back of that, it's kind of like, even if you use that trip to America as an example, I can't remember what we bought. Like, we bought stuff, we went shopping.
We spent heaps on stuff.
I don't remember what we bought, but I remember going to the shops, being amazed at like what they had in America. I remember those experiences, how we all felt. And so the actual things themselves that we just so happened to buy are pretty meaningless, but it's the experience of going together, seeing something new, experiencing a different kind of culture to what you're used to. That's where the memories come in, and the money is well spent doing those things.
Yeah, and then I think carrying some of those learnings forward into even just Christmas just being, and you and I are really making an emphasis to go, we don't actually need more stuff.
Yeah.
Like we don't need, I don't want to call it junk, but like I don't remember the things that I got for Secret Santa last year or that I bought for other people, because they're just things, right? Yeah. But what you do remember is the moments and the fun stuff and the swimming in the pool and the backyard cricket and the whatever it might be, camping, barbecues. Those are the memories that you remember. And so, yeah, I think having that experience in the States and then Australia, driving to Queenstown and doing a long weekend there and going to Rotorua for Manas League and going to new places and just having cool experiences as a whānau, that was so cool. And then carrying that learning forward into Christmas time and going, well, actually, do we need more stuff? Probably not. Let's not emphasize so much this year the present side of things, and let's just create some cool experiences. And even going to the secondhand shop and going like, right, everyone go and buy a 90s outfit, or everyone go and buy a crazy Christmas outfit. I mean, those are really cool experiences. So I think for me, that's been the big unlock this year, is just realizing how special those whiako, those experiences are for me, and going, I want more of that. The thing is, they cost a lot of money. Well, they don't have to,
No,
but
they don't. I think that is one thing, though, is obviously going to America costs a lot of money. But like you just pointed out, going to Save Mart, buying a 90s outfit costs $10 per person, and that was still a cool experience. It was something new for the kids.
a bit of fun.
They hadn't done before. It was a bit of fun. You have a laugh. You try some crazy things. Actually, those experiences don't always have to cost.
No.
The big ones do, obviously,
No,
but we can actually have those experiences cheap.
So I think for me, like I said, the big unlock and the big realization and aha moment for me this year was I would rather work really, really hard to save money, to be able to buy really cool experiences with people that I enjoy hanging out with, my whānau. And also, to your point earlier on, the years do seem to be going much faster, and our tamariki do seem to be growing up much faster. I know that sounds super cliche, but I want to make the most of the time with them, and I want to go and do cool things with them. So that was probably my biggest personal learning, is that actually I don't care about things. I care, enjoy much more the experiences and all that sort of stuff. So, but what about you? What have you learned about yourself personally this year?
Yeah, personally, I think I was reflecting on this a little bit this afternoon, and I think one of the things that I've learned about myself, or maybe not learned about myself, but come to recognize, is that over the years that we've done business and I've been busy doing mum life, I think I've become more and more guarded as a person, and I don't want to say don't let myself shine, but I don't have enough fun, and I don't let people in the way that maybe we once used to.
Interesting. What do you mean?
Well, I think, there's been times obviously in business that we've been burned. And so, you think people are really close to you. And I think as I've become more aware, like our staff have got bigger, I'm like a little bit more guarded about our own personal lives, even though we're here and talking about it. I think, and I've probably to a certain extent lost a sense of self being a mum. You put everyone else first all the time. And there's been a few times lately where we've just had a bit of fun and I've probably just let my guard down a bit. And I think I've realised over time that I've probably become a little bit high strung. Not let people in.
Or?
No, definitely not pessimistic. I would say I'm not a pessimist, but I definitely probably keep people at arm's length to a certain extent. Don't let them see my fun personality. I think I'm too busy trying to be like the mum and then the kind of business owner, rather than just
yourself.
Here I am enjoying my life being myself. Yeah, that was kind of my reflection this afternoon. That, I probably just don't have enough fun. Let people in.
I feel like we've got to change that.
Yeah, maybe.
Or is that something you want
I think it's just an accumulation. Definitely. I think it's just an accumulation of, it's almost like being the strong one all the time. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think as we've gotten older, done more years in business, become a mum, I probably should let loose and just have a bit of fun more often rather than...
Yeah, I think part of that is, the business thing, because you've mentioned it a couple of times. I think going into business, we were really naive.
Yeah.
And so, just give everything a go. We used to do tequila shots in the chiller with the staff and, we did all sorts of crazy things. But as you mature, you get burned, you learn things, you have some close calls. I think, your circle becomes a little bit smaller, and you're afraid. And then on top of that, there's cameras everywhere. I don't know, you become very, not paranoid, but you always on your best behavior because you don't want to make a mistake and have that kind of come back to haunt you.
Yeah, I think my sister said something to me when we did our very first podcast, and she said to me, Jess, you got to let your personality shine. And I thought, I don't really let my personality shine, except around those people who are my family, and they know, that's right. And they know who I am, and I'm a bit silly sometimes, and
you're an egg.
Dance in the living room, and like I'm a bit of an egg, but I probably haven't just embraced that as I've gotten older and feel like I have to be the mum and be the sensible, Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
That was my reflection about what I've learned about myself.
What about like professionally? Whether it's about the business or whether it's not a personal reflection, but what have you learned? What has 2024 taught you about the business or parenting or something else that's not yourself?
So I think business-wise, for you and I have always really loved working together. One of my biggest learnings this year for us in that sense was that kind of what naturally happened this year as we took on the grind and picked up everything that we could possibly pick up. All the work, I took on a lot more work that was working together, but actually had nothing to do with what you were doing. So we were both working together separately. And there was quite a lot of pressure on me and what I had taken on. You always carry a whole heap of work pressure. And I think that's where things got quite, what's the word? It just didn't work very well for us. When I was carrying pressure and I needed to get things done, you were carrying pressure, you needed to get things done. I think we work much better when we're actually working together towards
The same
thing that you and I can jump in the waka together, have a great time, work really, really well. On this occasion, it was like I needed to get my shit done. You were getting your shit done. And it was like, oh my God, this is really hard. We're never talking to each other. We're not on the same page because we're both busy trying to do different things. So I think business-wise and work, that was really good learning for you and I, that if we're both under pressure from work, that's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, actually, we're better working together on the same thing as opposed to working together on different things. Because actually, what you and I really enjoy is
working together,
problem solving together.
That's right.
Accomplishing or failing together, but doing it together rather than like we're in the same room, but we're working on two different things, and that's a good reflection.
And that's probably the first time that's ever kind of happened for us with work, because we've usually been doing the same thing, or I've been supporting you to get something going at work while you're supporting me to get something going at home. But this year we sort of fell into that, doing different things.
It's just the way it panned out.
Got quite hard to make everything work.
Acknowledging as well for you you had the pressure at work, but there's also that whole mental load of picking up the kids, dropping them off, who's got the after school activities.
Yeah.
There's all those other things as well that were probably tuning in the back of your mind
totally.
as well.
It wasn't like I could just, like I had 3 more hours of work left to do. I couldn't just go, Anton, you need to get the kids today. Well, I could, but you also had 3 more hours of work to do. And so that's where it was like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. I still need to get the kids. I can't pass that off to you because you've got things to do.
Whereas actually, if we were working on the same thing, and you're like, I got to go and pick up the kids, I would be like, yep, sweet, cool. I know where we're at. Like, I can just carry on.
this. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's good. Professional learning. I think parenting, something I've learned this year is how incredibly different our 3 kids' personalities are.
Yeah.
And as they get older, seeing how we are going to have to parent each of them differently, depending on their personality, what makes them tick. And in order to get the best out of them, that won't look the same for every kid. Short and sharp.
Short and sharp, to the point. I agree.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I've learned, I totally agree with both of your points. But I think for me in business, and it's kind of related to a personal thing as well, like, when we came back from the States late last year, I basically decided time for me to get in shape. I was feeling a little bit out of shape and not too happy with how I was feeling. And so after doing a bit of research, getting a personal trainer, eating the right kai, sharing like my personal goals with you and other people around me so they could kind of hold me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
What I realized was that in order to solve that problem, it wasn't going to be an overnight thing. But it didn't take too long. It didn't take heaps. It didn't take a year before I started to see a change. It took about 2 or 3 months of measuring what I was eating, keeping a track of what I was putting in my mouth, exercising like 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, being really disciplined and making sure that I was counting my steps and I was doing 10,000 steps every single day. Just those few things, constantly doing it every single day and being really disciplined. After a pretty short amount of time, 2-3 months, I started to see a change. I felt better, more energized, starting to look better, feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I learned from that was actually, in order for me to succeed in that particular goal, which was weight loss and feeling better, it wasn't super complex. It was actually pretty simple and boring, but I had to do it every single day, and I had to be really disciplined and hold myself accountable. And
it's not genius level stuff.
No,
it's just getting it done every day.
It's not complex. It's really, really simple.
Yeah.
But it's hard because you've got to do it every single day, and you can't have cheat days. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So taking what I learned from that and going, okay, well, how can I apply some of these lessons to our business? And I think for me, what I have learned is that we know where we need to improve our businesses. Like I know, you know, and often the problems are really, really obvious. We need to solve this. But instead of solving that problem, because that's boring, it's like, oh yeah, I know what the problem is. Yeah, that's been around for ages.
Yeah, there's always been a problem.
We've never managed to do that very well. So it's just part of, our DNA. So rather than ignoring it, going, well, actually, to solve this problem is pretty simple. It's going to be pretty boring. It's not going to be very shiny and exciting. But if we solve this problem, we solve a whole bunch of issues in the business. But it's really easy to get distracted by the shiny new opportunity over there and going, well, actually, yeah, there's a problem over there. But what if we did this instead? And we tried something new and innovative, and that'd be exciting, wouldn't it? And it's full of potential. And so I think for me, reflecting on not just the last year, but the last 10 years, I recognize that I am very easily distracted. I get really excited about this new opportunity or this new idea, or I come up with an idea and I'm a creative person and I just pour all of my time and all of my energy and bring everyone along this journey and go, let's try this, guys. Yeah. And all it is a giant distraction from the core business. And the core business, if we just focus on the core business, it's boring as shit. But if we just focus and we do a few things
consistently,
really, really well, we will win. I think for me, that's been the biggest learning. And I learned that through losing weight, getting into shape. I was like, it's actually not that difficult.
Getting strong.
You eat the right food. And if you're going to have treats, just don't go overboard. You work out regularly and you hold yourself accountable. It's that simple. Like, get your steps in, drink water. If you're going to have a Coke, make sure it's no sugar. It's pretty simple stuff.
But you got to do it every single day.
You can't do it 5 days a week and then just go hard on the weekend and be like, yeah, sink 12 beers and eat Maccas. Like, it just doesn't work like that. So I think I learned that in fitness and weight loss. It's about taking some of that learning and going, do you know what? Success for us next year, doesn't even have to be next year, can start today, is actually doing a few things, like 3 or 4 things in our business really, really well every single day.
And there's a little bit of delayed gratification
100%.
In that, because like you said, with getting strong, getting fit, losing weight, you get to the weekend and sure, the McDonald's and the 12 beers is like, oh, this is going to make me feel really good right now. But the delayed gratification of not giving into that and doing the boring stuff every day, in 3 months' time, all of a sudden you're like, I feel really good. I feel good. I'm happier. I'm so glad. And there's like the delayed part of that is so much longer term. And I think for business, it will be the same. It's like you're going to do the boring stuff and it's going to feel boring.
The fundamentals.
And something's going to pop up and you'll be like, oh, this looks like fun. I might put some energy into this.
That's right.
But that's going to give you a really short, sharp boost. And then those problems are still there. Whereas if you stick to dealing with those problems for that whole, the boring day in, day out grind, you're going to get so much more gratification out of a long-term fix.
Down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only possible challenge that I will encounter is when I do have these ideas, because they're not bad ideas, not all of them. Some of them are stupid, but some of them are actually quite good. So when I come up with these ideas, how do I get that creative idea out? I'm going to have to figure that part out. But I think what I'm going to really try and focus on is making sure that I don't allow myself to get distracted by the shiny new thing, the idea.
Yeah.
It's like, no, park that. Not a bad idea, just park it. Ignore that opportunity. Focus on the core fundamentals of what we've got going now and just keep doing it. Keep working hard, day in, day out. It's boring as shit.
Yeah.
Like counting calories is boring. Working out is boring. Doing the same exercises is boring. Doing 10,000 steps is boring. But if you want to feel better and you want that body, or you want to
wake up feeling good every morning,
it's what it takes. There's actually no simple shortcut. I think that for me, that's been my biggest learning, is that I'm easily distracted by shiny new things. I don't want to allow myself to do that. I want to be focused on the core fundamentals of what it is that we need to do. Solve the big problems, as boring as it is, because that's actually where we're going to get the big payoff later on.
I was going to make a joke about, at least you're not distracted by shiny new girls.
I'm not. Are you the old boring one?
I'm the boring one.
You're not boring.
I am. I just said I was boring.
Only for everyone else.
Good.
I get to see
It's a new era.
I get to see your shiny
It's a new era. Okay. What about? We talked a lot about grind and learnings and stuff, but what are just some things that have stood out this year for you as some standout moments?
Just like highlights.
Just little highlights. Yeah, finer things, business things, anything that's just a little standout.
I think
bring some joy.
Yeah, I think from a whānau point of view, and I sort of touched on it earlier, I think we did a long weekend in Queenstown. I think that was this year. Yeah, we did a long weekend in Queenstown. We drove down there. That was fun. I remember sitting at the sushi train.
Yeah,
I remember doing the luge. Those are the things that I remember. So, yeah, that trip to Queenstown was awesome. The trip to Aussie was great. I loved that. Great memories, great experiences as a whānau. Rotorua was really cool for Mana. I think travelling as a whānau, supporting him, playing rugby league for Te Toka Tū, Māori Rugby League, that was a really cool experience, going to that tournament and just seeing like thousands of tamariki Māori just proud to be Māori and playing rugby league and having fun. I thought that was a really cool experience. Watching our two kōrero grow has been really, really cool. I think seeing Aria develop into a really caring, nurturing, seeing her personality really shine through. She's going to be an amazing mother one day. She's already an amazing tuakana. Yeah, and Kōtuku is just like, she just creeps me out. She's just out the gate. So, yeah, I mean, we've had some really cool whānau moments. I think opening the airport was pretty massive for me. I know for us, but personally for me, that was like 3 years in the making. All the work that went into putting that bid in, the not knowing for like 6 months, the being approached.
Which you don't like because you're not patient.
No, I hate
so the not knowing.
No.
Yeah.
I just tell me, like, is it good or bad, surely. But the not knowing, the finding out that we were up against some mega
players,
multinational companies who, one of them even called me and said, "You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
He'll give you an opportunity to license your brand to us, let us run it." And for us to kind of, being offered big money to do that and say, "No, we're not going to license Fush to you. We're going to have a crack at taking you on," that real sort of David and Goliath moment. And then coming out and actually being offered that site, getting that phone call was pretty cool. It was pretty special.
I also think on that line that the Tato idea and brand is something that's like really new but is really exciting.
Yeah, seeing that come to life. I mean, there's nothing quite like sitting down, having a chat like this and going, what about this? Or what about that?
Yeah.
You coming up with the idea of toasting me and going, Toasties is a stupid idea. No one's going to buy Toasties. And then coming full circle and kind of going, actually, a Toastie is pretty yum. I do like a Toastie. I have to give you that one. And then, but taking those ideas and bringing them to life, for me, is the fun part. And then all of the challenges along the way, I mean, building that whole fit-out airside was tough. The cost just kept going up and up and up and up and up. How are we going to be able to afford this? And then even if once we do get to the end, and even if we have managed to pay everybody, then what? Is it even going to be worth it? Like, I mean, there's so much risk, right? But so far things seem to be working out all right, which is cool. Touch wood, wherever that, whatever that saying is. Yeah, but I think opening the airport was a real highlight. The staff that we've got there are a really cool bunch of people. Growing our hustle group team from whatever it was at the beginning of the year to whatever it is now. I think we're up to about 70 or something. Although it's been a year of hard work and grinding, those are things I think that we can be proud of that we've accomplished.
I think taking the kids to the hikoi,
that was cool.
It was really cool.
I'm really
cool for
glad
them
we
to
did
see.
That.
Cool for.
I think also because that was a last minute thing.
It was like very much
2 days before.
24 hours. Yeah.
24 hours, and we were saving money for a trip to Aussie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were going to go to Sydney. We had it all planned out. We were going to go early next year, and then the decision was, stuff it. Let's. This feels like it's more important. But because it was so late in the piece, the flights, the accommodation, all of that stuff, it was so expensive. But I think looking back on it, I'm really glad we did it. It felt like leading into it that was one of the moments, that it felt like one of those moments that would be talked about.
Yeah.
And it was talked about. But not only that, just for the tamariki to experience protesting, standing up for something that they believed in, that was really cool.
Yeah. And just for them to experience how awesome the ahua was there. Like people think, protesting, negative, but there was nothing like that going on. It was positive, it was music, it was singing, it was safe. So that was really, I think that was a highlight for us too. And for me, we've talked about the journey that I've been on. That was a real highlight for me, being able to to kind of be there to support that kaupapa.
What was the most, looking back on that, what was the thing that shocked you the most about that kaupapa? The most unexpected thing?
I think probably the most unexpected thing is everyone talks about how Wairua Pai, mokopuna focused, but like genuinely it was Wairua Pai, you know, like you always kind of have in the back of your mind, are we doing the right thing? Are the kids going to be safe? Is someone going to rock up and cause a ruckus? You know, because there's always one, but there was just never a second where it felt like it wasn't unsafe, it wasn't unorganized, like it was, that's probably the most.
It was well organized, actually.
Yeah, so much.
I think the people, just the sheer number of people, I had no idea it was going to be that big.
Yeah.
It felt like Foreshore Seabed-esque, which I didn't march in the Foreshore and Seabed, so I wasn't there, but I've seen the images, I've seen the photos. But it kind of felt like it was building towards that. And depending on what stats you read, you know,
how many people were there?
It was bigger than that. And just seeing some of that drone footage. Yeah. The thing that was really cool, I think, just reflecting upon that, and the organisers, the people who put that together, were young. I think the footage was, you know, there were about 4 or 5 well-known Māori creators, as in content creators, photographers and content creators, who captured all of that imagery. And that imagery went all around the world. There's
a theme of there's young people coming through who have got a whole lot of time ahead of them.
Who are clever.
Yeah.
You know, like that whole hikoi was, I mean, it was everyone put it together, obviously, but it was led by some pretty young people. And all of those photos and videos were captured by, again, young people who know exactly what they're doing. That didn't just happen by accident. That was some really clever people that probably got together in a room and said, what would this look like? And I think what's quite cool is I don't know that any other political party has that same level of engagement in that age bracket.
Yeah.
Like I just don't know if any other political party could have pulled that off, because no matter what the kaupapa was, do they have the young people that are engaged so much so that they're going to be able to assemble 40 or 50 or 100,000 people and get just thousands of hours of amazing footage, cut it all together, push it out across social media channels, social media
platforms,
you know, where they've got tens, if not hundreds of thousands of followers. Collectively, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. I mean, that's why that kaupapa blew up and went so viral. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A personal highlight for me was seeing the kids stand at kapahaka.
Yep, that was awesome.
I think there was some massive learning for our kids, for our big kids, especially for our big girl. Kapahaka's never come naturally. She's always had to. She's a kid who is very intelligent, so most of what she does is easy for her. She's never had to feel out of her depth, really. But with kapahaka, she feels very out of her depth. But I was just like absolutely blown away with what they brought to the stage and what Aria and Mana were able to pull out. Mana was the baby of his group by far and away. And props to the kaiako, all the tamariki, just incredible. But Aria just blew me away with what she was able to do. You know what you think, you know what your kids, you think you know what level they can get to, but she really did blow me out of the water on that one. So that was a real highlight for me.
Yeah, she was great. Okay, what about, just to wrap things up, what about next year? What does next year look like? What are you hoping to achieve? You got some goals, some personal things, or some business things, or some whānau things you want to tick off the list?
Yep. Going back to a little bit about what I learned about myself this year, I think I would really like to focus a little bit more on myself, not in a selfish way, but we've had a lot of years now. The kids are growing up, they're getting older. I also recognize that I'm getting older and I need to start looking after my body, my mind. And so I think a goal for me this year, we just started going back to the gym. Obviously, I came out of being pretty fit. And when we got married, I'd been dancing full time for a few years. I was fit and strong, which probably served me well going into parenting. But I haven't really given, as with most people once they have children, mums, dads alike, you don't really focus on yourself anymore. So I feel like this is my year to really go, actually, kids are old enough for me to go and spend an hour at the gym, do whatever I need to do in order to kind of bring that back. And then on top of that, going back to what I said before about not personality, but kind of just like letting things go a little bit, I would just like to have more fun with the kids, just be a little bit less high strung and just find times and experiences to just have more fun and make those memories.
What do you think would help? How can I help to do that?
How can you help? Just embrace. I think Christmas was really good learning for us this year. We just kind of embraced some like random things. We came up with this crazy idea that instead of doing a normal Christmas dinner with your whānau, we would have a Christmas Eve supper and make a theme, and everyone dresses a colour and brings a colour platter. It's a bit of a TikTok one, but that in itself was a really fun thing to do. The kids had fun. I had fun going to the supermarket. Adia and I went and we were laughing about picking all the yellow lollies out of the pick and mix. And so doing those kinds of experiences and just embracing the random things, I think, is how you can help, really. Just embrace it.
Cool.
As a whānau.
Yeah, nice.
Do fun things.
Just
cause. I think just cause.
Well,
whereas before it's probably been like, oh, do we need to do that today? Not really. There's other things that we could be doing. Whereas I think just embracing things as a whānau and going like, hey, let's just do it. Just cause.
So doing fun things and focusing on your health.
Yeah, definitely on my health. I think I recognize that I'm heading towards my 40s and I would like to go into that time in my life feeling, like you said before, fit and strong mentally, physically, get a little bit of my strength back, maybe go back to doing some dancing, who knows. But just look after myself a little bit better.
Cool.
Sounds very selfish. That's very unlike me. See, I feel uncomfortable already.
I don't think it's
I
selfish.
like to just look after everybody else. But yeah, I think if I'm being honest, that's what I need to do.
I think that's not what I thought. My read on that was you have spent the last 10, 12, however many years looking after everybody else, and that's come at a cost. The cost being you haven't had as much of a chance to stay fit, and because you're probably so worried and wrapped up in what everyone else is doing, you have become, your words,
quite
not
highly
mine.
strung.
High strung. I wouldn't describe you as high strung at all.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
But
I feel like it inside.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Stress.
Yeah, it's been stressed out.
Yeah,
and that has been probably the last 10 years of our life has been quite stressful at times, not always. But next year, you just want to become less stressed and focus on your body and focus on your fitness. That's all. Yeah. It's not like everything else isn't going to happen. Of course, all that stuff's going to happen. It's just that you're trying to bring that front of mind.
And I don't think it's about like letting go of things that make me stressed. I think it's about just finding joy in the moments and not feeling like I have to constantly be a parent and raise my kids the right way. And, it's just like, actually, let's just do it.
Yeah, cool. Dig that.
What about you? What's your what would you like to see out of 2025 for yourself?
Well, I would really like the next big trip that we want to do is January of 2026. So it's basically a year away.
Yeah, a whole year away.
It's a whole year away. And so that trip is probably going to cost us 50 grand. So we have to put away 50 grand somehow and do that trip. So that's kind of the North Star. That's the thing I really want to make sure that no matter what happens, we make that happen. Focusing on working really, really hard, putting money away so that we can go on this trip and create some really cool experiences, have a lot of fun. I want to go and watch an NBA game, want to go and watch an NFL game. You want to go to Disneyland,
Mama Disney gal,
Universal, do all those theme parks and I don't know, just do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So
go to the beach.
Yep.
Check out, what is it? Like
Chinese
Venice Beach? Is it called Venice Beach?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff, that crazy stuff that you see on TV and just...
Be a tourist.
Yeah, be a tourist.
In Los Angeles. So, wouldn't mind, really keen to make sure that definitely happens. So that's a year away. Between now and then, I would like to, kids aren't listening, I'd like to do a small trip somewhere, whether it's the islands or to Australia again, maybe at the end of the first quarter, so sort of April maybe. But at the moment, I know that in order to do those two things and all of the other things that are bound to come up, we need to really focus on the boring things, solving some of the problems in our businesses, and getting really dialed in, and just probably for the next 100 days, not taking a day off. I've already told you that before this podcast. I'm working the next 100 days.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really take a day off in its entirety regardless, but this is a much more like every day I'm going to make some
Well,
shit
I think
happen.
you're right. You never take a day off because your phone's always on. But I mean, for example, in the weekend, like on a Saturday, if we've got Mana's game, I don't go to work, but my phone's on. So if work needs to contact me, fine, I'll take it. I'll do whatever is required. But this is different. This is me going, no, I'm going to work today, and I'm going to put in at least 5 or 6 hours of work. Even if that means I have to wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, I will work because I've got a lot of shit that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And getting really disciplined about it and not making any excuses, because for the next 100 days, I do believe that if I get really dialed in and focused, I can solve some of the problems that have been around for the last few years. And if I can solve those problems, the trip to Aussie or the trip to Fiji or the trip to the US and all of those expensive things that come up, paying for our tamariki to go to Rotorua for another year of nationals, and paying for kapahaka, and paying for musical theatre lessons and swimming lessons and all of those really expensive things, it's not a problem because I just focused for 100 days and I didn't make any excuses. So that's my goal in the next 3 months, is to work really, really hard, solve some of the problems that I know are there, and then probably reward us with a surprise the tamariki with a trip just for a few days somewhere, because actually they're not going to see me as much for the next 100 days. And so it'd be nice to go, well, here's the yutu, here's the price, here's the reward for all of the mahi, here are the treats.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably, next year is just consolidating, working really, really hard, fixing any problems that we've got in our business, getting dialed in, doing the mahi, and then enjoying the treats.
Cool. I feel like something that you and I have gotten better at, but are pretty good at, is reflecting and learning and changing. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going into next year with rose-tinted glasses. I know it's going to be a tough year. There'll be things that come up that neither one of us could predict, but I think just getting really dialed in, really focused, and making sure that when those moments of joy do come up, that we embrace them, that we lean into them, we have fun, focus on experiences, not things. We don't need things.
Nah.
Like I've got everything I need, and if I don't have it, I'll go and buy it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more that I need.
Nah.
But I do need more happiness, more joy, more experiences, more quality time with my whānau. Yeah. So I think that's my big focus next year. But yeah, look, I'm really proud of us. I'm proud of you. Very grateful for all of the mahi that you do. I can't imagine what it must be like to worry about your own tamariki. It's not something I've ever had to worry about, because you do such an amazing job of just looking after them. And I know I'm a hard person to live with sometimes, and I can leave at a moment's notice because something's come up, and you just take it in your stride and get on with it. And so I'm very grateful for that. I am very proud that you are going back to the gym and putting yourself not first, that's the wrong word, but you're really prioritizing some of those things, because I know that look, we are getting older. We're certainly not old. I think that's just offensive to all the old people out there. We're not old, but we are getting older.
We feel like,
we're getting older. And if we don't start looking after our bodies and our, muscle mass and our health and fitness, we will be 40 or 50 or 60 and just be, not able to move around, and that would be
I just want the best out of life, eh?
Yeah, same. So I'm proud that you've decided that actually you're going to prioritize that. I'm enjoying going to the gym with you. That's fun, even though it's like our only date, Sunday morning date at the gym. But thank you for another great year. It's been great. I'm looking forward to 2025.
Should we hear from the kids? See what they'd like.
Well, the kids would like
2025.
They're on their iPads. You're going to have to go and get them off their iPads.
What do
Good
they
luck
want?
with that. That's how we bribe them to stay quiet so we can record this podcast.
That's how we get the podcast done.
Yeah.
Real life.
Here's an iPad.
Real life.
Here's an iPad. Screen. Watch it. Don't make any noise.
And you don't hear from them.
No.
It's all good.
Okay. I'll go get them. Aria mana.
I'll just hold the microphone.
Kōtuku. Mai koutou. Kei runga koutou te podcast mō tētahi pātai. Just give me tētahi pōtai.
It's still the morning.
What?
It's still the morning.
Hanamai.
Mommy.
Hanamai. Oh dear. Tisero.
Okay. Alright.
And you can see my chair.
Aria.
Mommy, what do we do on a podcast?
We thought we were going to talk. Look, can you see you in there? Okay, you got to think about one thing you'd like in 2025. Like a goal or something you'd like to see happen.
Mate. Well, kia ora anō te whānau. These are our tamariki.
Don't know if you can see it.
They've been on their screens. So they're, I wouldn't say thrilled to be on the podcast, but they're here. And we're going to ask them some questions.
We're just having microphone issues. Okay, pupuri,
We might
pene.
have to throw some, what do you call them, subtitles on for this part.
Okay, so I can talk because then we don't have to subtitle. Mate. Okay, kōtuku. What is something that you would like to do next year?
Get to do a marigold party.
A marigold party.
He aha te marigold party. He aha tēnā, whakamohi o mai.
He party me. And I have quite lots of now kiripuraki marigold, but we don't get to dress up in them. We just get to wear new stuff.
Oh, ka pai. Do you want to translate whatever that
So
means?
it sounds like kōtuku would like to have a marigold, which is what we call Encanto, the movie, party. That's your goal next year. How old are you going to be next year?
5.
Whoa. Okay, so for those of you who are listening but aren't totally aware of the language situation in our whānau, so Anton only speaks te reo to the kids. So hence why I said I'll ask the questions so that everyone knows what's being said.
I was just curious about what a marigold party was.
But yeah, for the purpose of everyone being able to listen rather than having to watch subtitles, the kids can answer in English just because it's a bit easier. What is one thing that you are really excited to do? Accomplish next year that you're excited about?
I would like to see our dog still alive.
Wow. Okay. What about rugby? And you've already talked about some of your goals for school and rugby and stuff.
League?
Yeah.
Ne, kei te pere koe te riki ne kita? Yeah. So he's playing league next year, not rugby.
Sorry about it.
That's right. He whainga rane?
Whirangi hau o te mai cap.
Ka pene, te kai arahi.
When is it next
O te hea tima?
Mō tōku tīma club.
O tō tima krapu, ka pai. Tino pai. Kei te pirangi hoki koe ki te hoki atu ki Rotorua. Mō te whakataetai ā-motu.
Ai.
Tino pai.
Haere ki Fuse tahi te wā ia wiki.
Tahi te wā I ia wiki.
Ai.
Fuse, te toa ahi krimi.
Ai.
Ai, te kare ka piki whara koe, ka momona. Tuku wheti. Ka pai. Ka pai.
Okay. Aria, no mai ki te kāmera. What is something that you're excited to achieve next year?
I want to read 150 books that I've never read before.
Ish.
And watch all of Friends all over again. And go to America.
Ko
Again.
Ko kōrero ke mātou, mō Amerika, ka haere te hanuere, 2026. E hoa, kai te
And go to
tū koe ki
Hawaii.
mua I te kāmera. Ki hea, Hawaii?
Yeah.
Wow.
O roko taima kua rongo hau I tērā whainga.
Okay, 100.
Hawaii, he motu tēnā.
Motunui.
He motu nui. Kei hea tērā wahi, ko tērā te wahi, te kāinga o moana, ne?
Ai.
Motu nui. Ka pai.
Pirangi ki te haere ki motunui.
Oh, ka pai.
Ka pai.
Haka nei pau ka tahi ki ko te ka maui a motu nui.
Okay, 150
One more,
bucks. Okay,
one more.
tell me.
To have one movie night a month with my friends. Here. With a friend.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, looks like I'm hosting the pals. All good. Okay,
Ka pai.
we can work with those.
Oh, well,
Whainga.
yeah, I'm sure we can accomplish all of that stuff. Tino pai. Alrighty, well, thank you
Tisa.
very, very much, everybody, for joining us for the last episode of Beyond the Hustle 2024. Thank you for being patient while we work things out, and hopefully you've seen the quality get better and better every week. It's a work in progress, but we really appreciate your patience. We really appreciate you hanging out with us for the first, 10 or so episodes this year. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've got plenty of exciting plans in the pipeline for next year, but for now, this is us
Signing out.
signing out for the last time in 2024. Have a wonderful new year, and we look forward to hopefully seeing all of you back here again in 2025 for another year of Beyond the Hustle. But for now, ngā mihi nunui kia koutou katoa.
We have to.
Hei ka kite.
Bye bye.
Ka kite
Ka kite.
anō. Kia pai te tauhou.